Heads up, if you have kids around, parental advisory is in effect.
Parental advisory is in effect.
This is the Bonus Bone Podcast with Lamont and Tonelli, Baby Huey, and Chasta.
Woo! Welcome back, friends, to another Bonus Bone Podcast episode. You got it in there quick today.
I got it quick.
Got it in there quick. Chasta, Lamont, Tonelli, and Baby Huey. I have had no sleep, so I am punch drunk, and right now I'm saying I cannot be held for anything I say on this podcast because seriously, it could get insane.
We're going to hold you to that.
Yes. Okay, so we're doing something similar but different than we've done before on this podcast. Today we're talking about the dream band scenario.
Yes.
Now,
we posted that on Facebook.
Yes, we have done who should be on the Mount Rushmore of rock.
Yes, but this is not the same thing.
We have also done top 10 rock singers.
This is not the same thing.
This is not the same thing because this is all about flow.
Right.
It's about who you would pick for each instrument in a band and how they would go together.
And only 4 musicians, by the way. I'm not adding a keyboardist in. I'm not adding a cello player.
Do you have something against keyboardists?
Or cello players or triangle players. I just want one drummer.
Yeah, who's the best triangle player?
One guitarist, one bassist, and one singer. Did I say singer? Drummer? Okay, drummer.
Yeah.
Drummer.
One of each of the
One
basics.
of each of the 4.
Okay. So since this was your topic, yet again, you with the podcast topics.
Right.
You go.
Well, I started off with saying that my all-time greatest singer, and I've said this before, would be Bon fucking Scott.
His middle name is...
Right? That's the way I refer to him, Bon fucking Scott, although I can't say that on the air.
Right.
Bon Scott, just because he had a swagger, I liked his singing, and I think he's the ultimate singer for a rock band.
Yeah,
okay?
showman for sure, too.
Right. Second, the guitarist.
Yep.
It's got to be Eddie Van Halen. He changed the way guitar was played. Done.
Can't argue that.
Okay. Billy Sheehan was my surprise for
Surprise
bassist.
bassist.
And the reason being, first off, Tonelli and I met him. It was a...
Is that the Sweetwater up in Marin?
It was the Sweetwater.
Yeah, Mill Valley.
He got up.
Right.
It was a tribute concert. It was a fundraiser. And he got up and played 4 songs. Sammy Hagar was on stage. There were a few other musicians up there playing. And when he got up and played, it just stopped Sammy Hagar in his tracks. And Sammy Hagar looked over and went, wow. I mean, this fucking guy, I've never seen a bass player play like that.
I always say he played the bass like a lead guitar.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing chords. He was freaking incredible to the point that the next bassist didn't want to get up on stage.
He was slapping a bass.
He was slapping it.
Slapping a bass.
Slapping a bass.
And also on drums, John Bonham.
Okay. Yeah.
That was my pick. However, after being so adamant on my picks, I'm not going to divulge who swayed me here yet. Well, I will. Tonelli kind of swayed me with his picks, but I don't want to give his picks away.
Right. I was going to say, you're not going to steal him.
No,
now.
I'm not going to steal it because I don't believe in that. But after he gives his pick, I will say that is a solid fucking pick.
We'll have commentary.
All right?
Okay, yes, commentary.
Okay, so there you go.
Tonell, hit it.
Well, for lead singer, I went with Mick Jagger just because of his career, longevity, showman.
Good pick. Great
I'm
showman.
kind of jealous of that.
Doesn't have the attitude Bon Scott has.
Yeah.
But he has the energy.
He's got the energy.
And the songwriting credits.
That's true.
Right? The guy
too.
can write a fucking song.
That
And he's done singing in different styles with the Rolling Stones, too. I mean, he's done some R&B stuff and not just rock stuff and all that. Bonham on the drums. And I probably had the toughest time coming up with a drummer. But Bonham when you think about what he did with, 4 sticks?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, oh, my God. So he can do anything. He's got the rock and roll force behind it, but he can get all technical and stuff. I was thinking about Stuart Copeland.
I'm shocked.
I love how technical he is.
Huey and I
was going to bring that up, and you didn't say it because I know that's your husband's favorite drummer.
It is, yeah. But that's a hard one for me to pick.
Right.
Drummers in general. Okay,
and the
go
other
ahead.
guy I like is Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix's band.
Yeah, another monster.
Bass player, I went with McCartney. I thought about Billy Sheehan, though, because, after seeing him
we
in
were
person,
there together.
It just left a lasting impression. And Lamont and I have talked about it ever since that night when we talk about bass players. but I just went with McCartney just because he can help you out and do different things in the band.
I mean, he can do everything in the band.
And he can shooby-doo to write a song.
Shooby-dooby-doo. Can write you hits all day.
And he can sing.
Right.
He can do it all.
And then my
everything.
controversial pick was Eric Clapton on the guitar.
That is a controversial
It is.
Well, he's a great guitarist.
I'm not getting personal about it. I just have always been a Clapton fan.
Right. Okay.
He's questionable, but not his guitar playing. Okay.
Would you want to hang around with him in a band?
Absolutely not. He stole George Harrison's wife.
Right.
That's
I mean, come on.
I didn't even think of that.
The signs were all there 50 years ago.
I know. We just didn't want to see it. We didn't want to see the truth.
I mean, they're writing songs together, and he's bopping the guy's wife.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you
Exactly.
kidding me?
Not the greatest dude, but man.
No scruples whatsoever.
But he can rip on guitar.
So those are my four, and I think they'd be good jamming together.
Yeah, and that is key because mine that I chose are a little mishmashy, if you will.
Right.
But I went with Janice as a singer, Janis Joplin.
Great choice.
She's my number
Love
one
Janis
all
Joplin.
time, no question.
And I'd like to have her in the band to party with.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, I want to drink whiskey with Janice. And then I went with Jimi Hendrix as a guitarist because, first of all, I love him as a guitarist. He's also a singer. And I always wanted he and Janice to be married.
Yes.
So having them in a band together, I feel like they would have gotten married. In fact, I think if both of them have lived, they probably would have.
Right.
At some point.
And they're both in the 27 Club, too.
Exactly. Yes, they are, unfortunately. For bassist,
Why, Chasta, why?
Would you?
What
Are you
a band
kidding
that
me?
she's picking. She's picking the Why Chasta Why band.
Picking all dead people so far. So I needed a little metal in my life, so I took a different turn and I went with Cliff Burton on bass.
Right.
Love
Okay.
him. And then
It's another Why Chasta Why.
Okay, my drummer's alive.
Now, I'm going to say
Knock on
something
wood.
controversial after you finish.
What, that I
this.
didn't pick Jay?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, I was
Because I
gonna-
know listeners on Facebook, and they were texting in, I would pick Jay. And they
Well,
were
yeah.
shocked that you didn't pick your own husband.
Well, I thought we were going for ultra rock stars. Jay
Right.
is an ultra rock star in my book, but
Right.
when you say Jay Michaelis, maybe not everyone knows
Okay.
who that is, and he is my husband. I actually do think he's the most badass drummer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's why I got to know him, because I heard him drumming and I turned around and went back into the club. So I went with Danny Carey of Tool because he is my personal favorite. Stuart Copeland is Jay's favorite. I have Mitch Mitchell's another one.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of greats, but if I'm just going to listen to a drummer drum besides my husband, it's going to be Danny Carey all day long.
See, now I would have thought you would have taken Jim Gordon as the drummer.
No.
Because, I mean, he even killed his own mother with a
Yes, he
hammer
did.
to the
I
head.
was just going to say, why would you think that I would choose him?
It would have gone
What
with the Why
rela-
Chasta Why band.
What relation? Flipping
I
him off.
actually
You
did
can't
think
see, but
about
I'm
Jim Gordon, to be honest. I
Are you
did.
serious?
Because he jammed with Eric Clapton.
Because of that reason, though?
Oh, if you listen to some of his live work, it's
No.
incredible.
Yeah, but I know
Yeah.
where you're going with
Exactly.
this. Why Chasta?
But
Why?
I
How
will
dare
say
you?
this, and this is going to be really controversial, okay? You picked Cliff Burton.
Yeah.
I don't even think he was the best bass player in Metallica.
Oh,
and
that
I
is
know
an
that's going to
unpopular
rankle a
opinion.
few people, but I'll tell you what, he's great. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But I think Rob Trujillo is a better bass player.
What-
He studied jazz. I mean, the background on Rob Trujillo,
Yeah.
he can play anything.
He can play anything.
And he's a friggin' monster on bass.
And he's got a lot of showmanship to him
Yes,
as well. The crab walk
absolutely.
thing and all that
so
stuff.
I would have picked Rob Trujillo
Out of the Metallica
out of the
bassist, you
Metallica
would've-
family.
Interesting. You might
Yes.
get some hate.
You know
Some
what?
hate
I don't
blowback
care.
from that.
There's a lot of love for Rob Trujillo out there, too.
But you know what? Rob is great, and it always kills me when people act like he's the new guy. He's been in Metallica 20
He's the
years.
longest-
He's
Right?
the longest
Hey,
running
by the
bassist.
way, and Cliff Burton, we organized, Tonelli and I were part of getting Cliff Burton Day. I freaking love Cliff Burton. We were the ones who, like, for a month helped organize it with the Metallica family.
Yeah.
And had, like, a movement going on the air. I love Cliff Burton, but I would say Rob Trujillo.
Wow, Rob, Lamont's team Trujillo. right
Some
there.
passion there.
I know. I love it. All right, Huey, hit
Well,
us.
I was going to say Stuart Copeland as
Yeah.
well. I love, but just for the sake of being
But you
different. For the sake of being different.
He hasn't said anyone yet.
I know,
Right?
yeah.
Come on.
But he said he was going to say it.
I was gonna say, for me, okay, I want to go maybe like a more hard rock, metal, punk influence style band.
Gotcha.
So for drums, I'll do Dave Lombardo from
Oh,
Slayer.
freaking phenomenal.
Most people say arguably he's the best thrash metal drummer of all time, but he's done so many different styles as well and
Yeah.
other side projects and whatnot. Play with the Misfits,
Phenomenal.
everything. For guitar, I'll go with Slash, just because Slash has the hard rock, coming up in the
Slash
80s.
is a good pick.
I can't believe people weren't picking Slash. I didn't see that a lot.
Well, yeah, but Eddie Van Halen changed the friggin' way people played guitar.
But it's Slash for a younger, quote unquote, younger generation.
Yeah,
right.
He is one of our Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen's.
And he led like that 80s
the
LA
80s
Sunset
revolution.
Boulevard.
Totally.
Yeah,
His work in Paradise City is, I mean, if you really listen to that closely, the last minute and a half of that song, I mean, he's just ripping.
And he has such a specific style, and he's one of those guitarists where you hear 2 seconds of a solo and you know it's him, right? Phenomenal.
So for bass, I was thinking, man, for the sake of like songwriting, I'm gonna go with Lemmy from Motorhead.
Ooh, that's a good choice. That's
Look
a good
at
pick.
you.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Because he's done 30 albums with Motorhead before he died. So he was just constantly writing songs. And then for singer, I'll go with James Hetfield because he's an amazing rhythm guitarist, and so imagine him and Slash.
You have a pretty hard band.
It is.
You do.
That's a driving band.
Absolutely. So honorable mention, I would say Matt Freeman from Rancid on bass.
Let me just say this. I am, at this very moment, taking away your Green Day fandom card.
I know. I was wondering if you were going to bring that up.
Not one freaking member from Green Day.
But those previous podcasts
How are you going to show your face to Billy Joe Armstrong when you're begging to get backstage?
Oh, absolutely.
Stage presence.
Okay, if I was going to go with Stuart Copeland, I would then have Billy Joe with
Trey
that band.
Cool is not picked there. Oh, my God.
I said I was going with the metal.
Wait. Say what you just said again.
Mike Dirnt hasn't been picked.
Because I think that's valid, what you just said
I
about
want the
flow.
artists that fit together.
Right,
so if I was going to go with Stuart Copeland, I think Billy Joe working with Stuart Copeland would be awesome because Stuart Copeland comes from that punk rock 70s background in the UK. And then,
so it all hinged on Stuart Copeland.
But I think that's a good point to make because that's what I'm saying. Mine's really
Yours all over the place.
Like mine's all over the place. Like how's Danny Carey going to play with Janis? I mean, I think they're all professionals and would figure it out. But sound wise,
that's why Jim Gordon would have been great because he's a studio drummer.
Just keep going back to the why, Chasta, why. And so my band is a little funky like that, but those are all my personal favorites. But I see where you're going with this. They all match.
I think the four of them
thrash metal.
Yeah, can actually write a song together.
You're trying to will into existence a supergroup.
Exactly.
So you like Mr. Band Manager then?
Yeah,
putting things together.
He's a band manager. I like that. And who did you say your honorable mention was?
Oh, Matt Freeman.
Matt,
who we saw a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago at the Back Lounge,
which he did an incredible cover of Pantera Walk.
And yes, he did, and phenomenal dude, just super chill.
You're like the Colonel Tom Parker of thrash.
There you go. That's a great analogy. I was searching for something like that. That's perfect.
That is really good. Do we have any on Facebook that we want to mention?
Well, I will say this. There were a few on Facebook that I was just like, oh, that's a good one. Bruce Dickinson.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Well, his voice, he can do anything.
Bruce Dickinson was a great suggestion.
We got a lot of Dio.
Yeah.
Dio was very
Dio's
popular.
Another one.
Rob Halford
was also
Halford was
mentioned.
a great pick. I mean, so many great vocalists.
Freddie Mercury. A lot of people said Freddie.
Randy Rhoads on guitar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, this is where it gets impossible. Like, you have to, I think in these arguments, you have to go with your first gut, like your gut reaction, your first thought, because then you can get lost. You mentioned Chris Cornell on the air.
Chris Cornell was another one.
See, that would
and I was just like, Chasta, how did you miss Chris Cornell?
I know, and I feel like I'm doing him a disservice because that would be my second.
Were there any mentions of Geddy Lee on bass at all?
Geddy Lee, Neil Peart on drums.
Yeah, Neil Peart got a lot. Geddy I almost picked, but I felt like that was too obvious.
Yeah,
I felt like everyone was going to pick Geddy.
Well, not only
and then
that,
no one picked
he can play bass with his feet.
And
keyboards, but we didn't have a keyboard player in the band.
I know. We should have a keyboardist. If we did, I would pick the keyboardist from Blackberry Smoke.
I would pick the keyboardist from Boston.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's...
Speaking of Boston...
Brad Delp.
Yeah.
Brad Delp would have been another one.
Can sing anything.
Or Greg Raleigh.
Yeah,
Greg
great
Raleigh,
keyboard
of course.
player.
Yeah.
Sammy Hagar.
See, we could be here all day.
Jim Gordon played the keyboard.
For fuck's sake, stop it with
And the hammer.
He wrote the piano. He wrote the piano
play
piece.
The hammer.
He wrote the piano piece on Layla.
Yes.
Oh my
Play
God.
the hammer.
Go clubbing with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. This got dark
His
fast.
nickname is Claude.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's where we got to end it. Anybody else have anything they want to say? Why Chasta Wise?
No, that's it.
Okay, we're done. Jeez Louise. Thanks so much for being a part of the Bonus Bone podcast. We love you. Make sure you subscribe to 1077 The Bone, wherever you get your audio. And woot woot.